After reviewing this series, Ed also doesn't know if it's a rom-com anymore. The story is about a lowly girl who is almost 1,000 years old and a young man who is stuck on a deserted island for over 15 years. A truly chilling story. Let's get right into the manga's content. Her Highness Anastasia stood before everyone and said, "The barrier has been broken. The Dragon Clan is approaching our warship head on." So her attendant beside her also spoke up. "Her Highness's strongest barrier, the Infinity Prism, has been broken. So you've finally broken through my barrier, have you? Dragon King Naga, I won't let you get any closer." Flashing back to before, Her Highness Anastasia was going all out, attacking those ferocious dragons. Oh, endless shooting stars at the edge of the sky. Answer my call. Descend with a brilliant light and wipe out all my enemies. Meteor Storm. After wiping them out, her attendant praised her profusely, as expected of Her Highness Anastasia. "Your Highness alone possesses power equal to the total combat strength of an entire magic army. Confirm. 8 dragons from a Dragon Clan army have been defeated. The once-in-a-millennium genius mage of the Elf Empire, the Millennial Grand Magus, the 7th Princess, Anastasia Imperio." At this moment, she spoke up and asked, "Naga, do you intend to end things here?" Suddenly, the soldier controlling the machine shouted an announcement. "A massive source of magical power has been detected. This is the Dragon Clan's ultimate technique, the Heaven's Origin Dragon Cannon." Anastasia hurriedly said, "This is bad. Your Highness, please retreat for now." "Impossible. If we don't protect this place, the Eternal Heart will fall into the hands of the other races." She once again summoned her power. "Oh, Karma Fire of Creation, come with the light of the stars, and answer my call. Wisdom born from the blood of elves. Karma Fire that engulfs the world. Flames that shake the earth. Heat that scorches the heavens. Flames that turn all to dust. This is the strongest magic, analyzed by Her Highness, and synthesized from countless ancient magics. Grant me boundless power." Violet Nova. As soon as she finished speaking, a powerful beam of light shot out. Anastasia also collapsed from exhaustion. When she woke up, she was in a different place. "This is the sea. Everyone. Where is everyone?" General Agel. She thought to herself, could it be that they were blown away by the magic shockwave to somewhere else? In any case, I have to get back to the battlefield quickly. Suddenly, a scream was heard. A man with a staff rushed out. His eyes were fixed on Anastasia. Seeing that strange man, Anastasia ran in terror. "You dash. Who are you? Don't come any closer. Oh, wind, blow my enemy away." It didn't work. Oh, wind. Seeing her run, the man also chased after her. But then he suddenly realized, "I can't fly." He then grabbed her leg, revealing everything underneath. "Help me. I've been stuck on this deserted island for a whole week, and I can't get out," she said, stunned. "You can." On the deserted island, the two gradually became closer. "So you're a human, a lower race. But in this situation, I will temporarily overlook your insolence." She introduced herself. "I am Anastasia Imperio, the 7th Princess of the Elf Empire. It seems I was blown to this place by a powerful magic shockwave. I can get you out of here. But first, can you tell me exactly where this place is?" Hearing that, the man spoke up. "Sorry, but I don't have time to participate in your joke." Anastasia asked in surprise. "A joke? What? You speak Japanese, but you don't look Japanese. You look like a middle school student. Where are your parents?" Hearing him, she angrily scolded, "You insolent fool! His Majesty, the Emperor of the Elf Empire, is not someone that the likes of you can meet." But he still spoke gently. "Did you come to this island by boat? Where's your boat?" "Boat? You mean the mother ship, right? It probably got lost due to the magic shockwave. According to my calculations, the mother ship shouldn't have been damaged." So, Anastasia thought after hearing this. "I see. The ship sank, and the girl was washed ashore here. She must be in shock. So her mental state is unstable. That's why she's trying to escape reality through delusions. Though it's pitiful, but I understand your situation now, even if it's cruel. But if you want to survive on this deserted island, you have to accept reality. You're not a princess. You're just a middle school student, and you can't use magic." She saw him change his attitude like that, Anastasia, feeling a bit uneasy, slapped his hand away. You insolent fool, a grand magus. Like me, unable to use magic? She repeatedly summoned magic. Warp hole, glacial breeze, meteor storm, violet nova. She's seriously ill. Why can't I use magic? Who am I really? Suddenly, he shouted, behind you. Behind you. It's a suffocating slime demon. At that moment, she was enveloped by that slime. I'm dead. A surprise attack. No, it's even getting into my mouth. I can't breathe. My body is bound, and I can't move. A monster of this size would only need low-level magic, but I can't use magic. Seeing Anastasia like that. But he turned and walked away, leaving her to drown in her memories. Princess Anastasia was ignored by His Majesty again, because her mother, Empress Lamina, was not favored, so her daughter was also treated coldly. Princess Anastasia's magical power has awakened. This child is a once-in-a-millennium genius. Well done, my daughter. The relationships, status, and affection I receive were all thanks to my magical talent. Once I can no longer use magic, not a single soul. But the man suddenly turned back. He found a piece of wood and smashed the slime. He successfully rescued Anastasia. Then he carried her away. As he walked, he said, that was dangerous just now. Surprising, isn't it? There are mysterious monsters on this island. Like that thing just now. That thing just now was a monster that attacks when people are off their guard. It covers its prey's face and suffocates them. On my first day here, I was almost killed by it. But I happened to discover that it's afraid of fire, so I escaped. That's why I named it the suffocating slime demon. Then Anastasia spoke up and asked, why did you come back to save me? For some reason, can't use magic anymore. There's no benefit in saving someone like me. But he thought silently, she's still very ill. Then he replied, who you are or what you are, doesn't matter. I'm just fulfilling my responsibility as an adult. So even if you have a mental illness or are eccentric or can't use magic, I would still save you. Anastasia, because hearing these words made her face blush. The sun was setting. The two of them were now beside each other. What are you doing? I'm trying to start a fire for light, cooking, and repelling insects and wild animals. All of it requires fire. When I was attacked by the suffocating slime demon, luckily there was still a bit of smoldering fire, but now it's completely out. Damn it. It's about to get dark, and there's still no kindling. Even after trying many times, it's still not easy to start a fire. How disappointing. Using such a primitive method to start a fire, watching him diligently, Anastasia thought even more. Although I've heard that humans developed magic slower than elves, but to this extent, it's truly unimaginable. What a pitiful species. Seeing her staring blankly, he asked, are you okay? She shyly replied, I'm fine. My heart has been beating strangely since a while ago. When a rescue comes, I have to get it checked by the medics immediately. Honestly, how long is he going to keep doing that? If I could use magic, creating a spark would only take a second. Speaking of which, why can't I use magic? Is there something wrong with my body? Or do I have to concentrate and sharpen all the senses inside my body? Anastasia once again tried to use her power. It's too thin. Why is the mana concentration here so thin? To use magic, besides the caster's magical power, you also need the mana floating in the air. The higher the mana concentration, the easier it is to activate magic. That is, if I adjust my magical power and magic to match the mana concentration on this island, I can definitely use magic. I have to concentrate all my senses to feel the mana around this area. High-level magic has a stronger ability to concentrate mana, so even with weak power, casting magic will be easier. I can use magic. I'm not useless. She shouted. Oh, endless meteorites at the end of the sky. Answer my call. Descend with a brilliant light and wipe out all my enemies. Meteor storm. Finally, her power took effect. A flash of light appeared, but it was just a pitifully small rock. Suddenly, he rushed over and picked up the rock. He placed it in the straw and blew on it. Instantly, the straw caught fire. Amazing. Thanks to you, we were able to start a fire. Tears welled up in her eyes. This fire, we were able to start it thanks to you. Your magic is real. Because of this, Anastasia became even more smug. Did you see my magic? Yes. I'm sorry for thinking you were a middle school student with a delusional disorder, but I never thought magic actually existed. This is the first time I've ever seen it. What a surprise. You're really amazing. Magic can do a lot of things, right? I feel like, if I have you here, I can overcome any difficulty. You've finally realized my greatness, haven't you? He also laughed happily and replied, I'm very bad at that, but it's a good thing you're here. Just 2 or 3 times a day, regularly. Let's do our best, okay? At that moment, the attendant announced, the Dragon Clan has broken through the barrier and is rapidly approaching the mothership. Anastasia ran and asked, can you report the situation? The Dragon Clan. Could it be the Dragon King, Naga? What is the distance to the enemy? The distance is, they've already reached the mothership. They're starting to invade now. What? Suddenly, an insect flew in front of her. She quickly waved her hand. Could it be that these insects are also dragons? How do they shrink like this? Emergency. We are currently under attack by miniature dragons. Reinforcements. Reinforcements. But actually, Anastasia was just dreaming. She gradually woke up in a daze. Huh? Was it a dream? That's right. Due to the magic clash, I was blown away to this island. This island. The mana is so thin that I can't use magic. So I temporarily gave up on escaping with magic and had to spend the night here. But then she burst into tears. The insects on this island are so vicious. Last night, my whole body was bitten repeatedly. I hardly slept at all. Then she turned her head to look for the man. But where did that human go? Suddenly, he spoke up. Did you sleep well? As soon as Anastasia saw him, she blushed. My heart is pounding again. It seems my body hasn't recovered well yet. I have to get out of here quickly. He asked what's wrong. But Anastasia shyly shook her head and replied, it's nothing. What are you doing? The man was now setting up a distress signal. I thought the rescue team looking for you might come, so I used the items that washed up here to make a signal. Easy to spot. You don't have to do these things. I'm fine. Anastasia continued. My location is always being tracked by the Elf Empire. Using magic, they must have realized that the commander, that is me, has left the battlefield. It's only a matter of time before the army comes to pick me up. He suddenly asked her, battlefield? What do you mean? Anastasia was also surprised by this question. You don't know. This is a great war on a scale that affects the fate of the entire world. How disappointing. But perhaps for humans, a weak race, this has nothing to do with you. There's no other way. I'll give you a brief explanation. She began to recount. The leadership of the world is in the hands of 3 great races. The elves of the Alfheim Empire, the dragon race of Muspelheim, which belongs to the 6 dragon lands, and the demon race of Niflheim, which belongs to the demon world. Currently, these 3 nations are at war to fight for the eternal heart, a giant magic gem containing infinite magic and mana. Whichever race possesses the eternal heart will surpass all other races and practically rule this world. Sooner or later, the war will spread. So humans should also be prepared. Hearing these words, he just took it as Anastasia making things up. The fact that she can use magic isn't a lie, but to be delusional to this extent, she's in a really bad state. Anastasia suddenly grimaced. I'm suddenly feeling thirsty, and she asked, I haven't had any water since yesterday. If you can, could you share some water with me? But the man shook his head. Sorry, but I don't have any water. When I first got here, there were still a lot of coconut trees with fruit. At that time, I thought rescue would come soon, while coconuts could solve the problem of food and water. So I hardly went deep inside to explore this island. The last coconut was eaten by me yesterday. Hearing that, Anastasia broke out in a cold sweat. So that means I have to go without drinking water until help arrives? She sighed. There's no other way. But the search team must be heading this way. I'll try to endure it until they arrive. Wait, the mana on this island is so thin that you can't use magic, right? Then she suddenly shouted, if the mana concentration is so low that I can't transmit my location with magic, then I'll never be found, will I? That means they can only search manually, which is an inefficient way. It seems like your rescue team is also having a tough time. Anastasia held her head in disappointment. I'm starting to feel dizzy. Hey, are you okay? Are those symptoms of dehydration? That's right. I know a place with water. The man recounted, on my first day exploring the island, I saw a puddle of water. At that time, since there were still coconuts and I had nothing to carry water in. I ignored it. In a situation where we don't know when rescue will come, the top priority is to secure enough water. We can only find a way to survive on our own until we're rescued. Then the two of them stood up and went to look for a water source. She, walking slowly behind, suddenly stopped. What's wrong? I think I stepped on something sharp. Let me see. He then pulled the thorn out of Anastasia's foot. It seems a dry branch got stuck in it. It's okay, it's just a light scratch. Anastasia cried out in pain. It's fine, I'm okay. Let me go. Now that you mention it, why aren't you wearing any shoes? I usually fly with magic, so I don't need to wear shoes carefully. At this point, Anastasia's expression was a little strained. He touched her and realized, hey, your body is really hot because you're dehydrated and you're wearing a thick cloak like this. In hot weather, you'll get heat stroke. Take it off now. I can't. This is something I received from my father, a symbol of the frontline commander, the one who carries the fate of the elf empire. When Anastasia became irritable, I absolutely will not take it off until I can bring the eternal heart to my father's hands. But he still tried to persuade her. You fool. You'll get heat stroke. I'm fine. Let's get going. Impossible. After walking for a while, they came across a lake. But unfortunately, the puddle has dried up. The water has dried up in just a week. But Anastasia's situation became more and more complicated. Waking up today, she was burning up, her throat parched. So uncomfortable. My head hurts, my body is tired. I can't take it anymore. In her delirium, a cool drop of water slowly entered her mouth. Cool, this is water. So cool and delicious. The water came from here. Upon waking up, Anastasia saw the scene before her and screamed in horror. You're awake. That's great. She asked hesitantly, what on earth did you make me drink? It's water. The surface water had indeed disappeared. But when I dug deeper, the ground below was still quite damp. If you wrap it in cloth and wring it like this, the cloth acts as a simple filter for dirt and things. You can make drinkable water. Hearing that, Anastasia couldn't stop praising him. You're so smart. Much smarter than I thought. If I dig a little deeper, I think I can find where the water has collected. He continued, because your condition was really critical. I had to try and squeeze water from the ground for you to drink as quickly as possible. This water tastes a little like dirt, but it's been filtered through dirt and rocks, so it's safe to drink. I can't. It can't just be me. You have to drink too. It's okay. He held up a sock beside him and said, I still have another one. You can keep it and use it. It was then that she realized the water she was drinking was filtered through a sock and shouted angrily, you insolent fool. I'm the princess of the elf empire. There's no way I'd drink water squeezed from a human sock. But he just thought to himself, it seems this child still doesn't understand the harshness of survival. Then he retorted, you're saying grand. Words like carrying the fate of the elf empire. But in the end, it was just empty talk. What did you say? If there's something you absolutely must accomplish, shouldn't you try to survive at all costs until the opportunity comes? Or are you not determined enough to survive? Even if you have to resort to any means. You're right. In this situation, if I can't survive and return, everything will be meaningless. At this point, Anastasia had tears in her eyes. Despite having an important mission, I prioritized my pride and put my life in danger. I have no face to meet my father, who entrusted the fate of the elf race to me anymore. Seeing her like this, the man quickly consoled her. No, it's not like I'm blaming you. Realizing her mistake, she picked up the sock and looked at his dirty feet, but still gritted her teeth and drank the water inside. After drinking the sock water, Anastasia even asked for another one. I will definitely survive for you to see. Even dirty water squeezed from smelly sock. I'll gladly drink it. Smelly. After a while of diligent searching, they finally harvested something. Good. I finally found some water, though I don't know how. About 6 bottles, each 1.5 liters. They say humans need about 1.5 liters of water per day. If we drink sparingly, it could last longer, but in this heat, each person will probably drink a whole bottle a day. That means this water will only last for 3 days. He turned and said to Anastasia, right? But don't worry, there's still other ways to get water. Anastasia asked, puzzled. By the way, where did you get so many water bottles? You mean the plastic bottles? I picked them up on the beach. All sorts of trash wash up from the sea. Anastasia grimaced. Trash? That sounds disgusting, although it's not guaranteed to be sanitary. But in this situation, we can only make use of what we have. You're right. This isn't the time to be picky. At this point, Anastasia's stomach began to rumble with hunger. It's nothing. Seeing that, he also immediately said, "Me too. I haven't eaten anything since yesterday, so I'm starving. The sun is about to set, and looking for water took too much time. We have to find some food before it gets dark. I'll help too." As they walked, the two of them chatted. "By the way, I still haven't asked for your name." "Oh, right. There's so much going on that I forgot. To introduce myself, my name is Shuten Daiku. I'm a high school teacher in Tokyo." "It's nice to meet you." Shuten Daiku. That's a strange name. "So you're a teacher in a village called Tokyo? What kind of magic do you teach?" Shuten spoke up. "A village called Tokyo? Never mind. It's normal for foreigners not to know about Tokyo. It's normal. Magic? I'm just a Japanese language teacher." Hearing that, Anastasia thought to herself, could it be that he has no talent for magic? So, he can only be a teacher, teaching language in a remote village? How pitiful. Then she spoke seriously. "No wonder you're so good at survival tricks. From the primitive era, like starting a fire or finding water." Hearing this, Shuten just sighed. "No, I'm not a survival expert or anything. I just like to watch videos and read books on the topic of survival. So I know some basic knowledge, but I've never actually experienced a real survival situation. At most, I'm just an amateur who goes camping sometimes." "You're lying. Don't worry. If anything happens, I'll fulfill my responsibility as an adult and protect you. We'll get out of here safely together." Hearing that, Anastasia began to trust him more. "My heart is pounding again. I have to see a doctor after I get home." The two of them started looking for food. "Hey, why are you looking for food at the beach? Aren't the fish in the sea?" "There it is." He held up a small snail and said cheerfully, "This will be tonight's dinner." Then Anastasia looked suspicious. "Are you planning to eat snails?" Shuten was a man of deep knowledge, and he explained to her, "It looks like a snail, but it's actually a sea snail. It's seafood, you know." "No way. There's so many fish out there. So why do we have to eat this thing? I don't have a fishing rod, and catching fish with my bare hands is very difficult. But snails don't run, so we can definitely catch a lot of them. They're a bit small, so for now, let's eat this to regain some strength, and then we'll aim for fish." Anastasia once again spoke in a condescending tone, even without tools. Huh. Anastasia Imperio can still use magic to catch fish. With that, she went out to the sea to catch fish. Here it comes. Then, Anastasia used summoning magic. "Oh, endless tide. Answer my call and form an endless stream. Engulf my enemies with raging waves and imprison them forever. Flowing water, illusion prison." At that moment, a column of water swirled and churned. Seeing this, Shuten also praised her. "Amazing. You really caught a fish. Quick, grab it." Just as he rushed to grab the fish, Anastasia fainted. The water sphere she had created suddenly exploded. "Wait, are you okay?" Seeing her unconscious and unresponsive, Shuten carried her inside. "Anastasia, wake up. Did you swallow seawater? Let me pat your back. Spit it all out." Without saying much, Shuten immediately patted Anastasia on the back. "How is it? Feeling better? Still feeling sick?" Once again, Anastasia's stomach rumbled. "Your stomach is rumbling so loudly. Are you that hungry?" Anastasia said with a pained expression. "I was already hungry, and now I've used a large amount of magic, so I'm completely exhausted." "Hey look, there are a bunch of clams on that rock." "That's great. The fish got away, but we found a large amount of clams. It's all thanks to you. Fate has decreed that we must eat clams. There's no escaping it. Eating a lot of things you hate makes you stronger. Surviving in a world with a myriad of new things is not so bad." Anastasia and Shuten were now starting a fire. Looking at the clams on the sand, she remained silent, while Shuten was diligently smashing them open. They were gradually crushed by him. "If you wash the shell fragments, you can eat it. Now let's enjoy our meal." After one bite, Shuten exclaimed, "So this is what it tastes like. It's like an appetizer. It's pretty good." "Really?" "Yeah, it's strange. You should try it too." After Anastasia put a piece in her mouth, well, there's no seasoning, so you can only taste the original flavor. "But it's pretty good, right?" She immediately retched. "Hey, are you okay?" She screamed. "What is this disgusting thing? It's slimy, slippery, smells like dirt, and it's so fishy. I've never eaten anything so weird in my life." "Don't tell me you've never eaten clams before." "That's right. I live in the palace of the elf forest. I eat fish occasionally, but most of my meals consist of things from the forest. As for personal taste, I usually prefer vegetables and fruits, and I only eat a little bit of meat. Something as strong-smelling as snails is probably a bit much." Seeing Anastasia's increasingly haggard expression, Shuten just felt heavy-hearted. What should I do? She's been weak ever since she used magic. A cultural difference in food. Or should I find something else to eat? But it's getting dark now, so it's hard to find anything with a torch. That's a coconut. There's still one left. As soon as he saw the last remaining coconut, he picked it up and shouted, "Hey, try drinking this." After Anastasia took a sip, she exclaimed in praise, "Delicious. The cool taste spreads in my mouth. It's naturally sweet without being overpowering. The fragrance is light, but strangely appealing. I'm glad you like it." Anastasia, delighted, took a big gulp. Seeing her like this, he finally felt less worried. Could this also be the first time she's had coconut water? "I've heard of it, but I've never seen it in real life. After all, I am fighting for the fate of the elf empire." Alfheim. Anastasia then recalled a memory from her childhood, practicing magic every day, almost no contact with the world outside the palace. Then, Shuten spoke up and said to Anastasia, "Hey, after we leave this island, let's go to Tokyo. I'll treat you to lots of delicious food and show you countless fun things." But she arrogantly replied, "I'm a princess, you know. When we get out of here, I can't just follow you around. Besides, we're in a time of war. Who knows how the world will change after the war. You're being so carefree. I'm speechless. However, even if just a little, I'm looking forward to it." But that coconut didn't have much water or flesh. Looking at her, Shuten thought to himself, is there a way to get her to eat a little more? Shuten suddenly called out, "Hey, have you ever heard of boba? One boba pearl. You add a few chewy boba pearls to a delicious drink like milk tea. When you drink it, you can chew on the boba. It's really fun to eat. Young people are crazy about this stuff. Inspired by that, we'll add snail meat to the coconut. Think about it. If you eat something you hate in a fun way like this, you might find it more delicious. What the hell is this human talking about?" Without saying much, he immediately sprinkled a few pieces of clam that he had crushed earlier into the coconut. She was drinking. Anastasia immediately took a long sip. Then her eyes rolled back. "How is it?" Anastasia coughed violently again. "Maybe the delicious taste of the coconut water overpowers the taste of the snail meat, so it feels much less disgusting than eating it directly. And the slight saltiness of the meat also makes the coconut water a little richer. Somehow." Hearing that, Shuten took a sip. "I see. Then eat some more. I can't call it delicious, but at least I feel stronger after eating it. That's good. Think about it. At first, you were terrified, but now you've eaten quite a bit. Well, it's all thanks to your weird ideas. The creativity of commoners is really useful, but come to think of it, I've been eating alone this whole time. You should try some too. This combination is actually pretty good once you get used to it." "Well then, let me try some." Hearing Anastasia say that, Shuten took the coconut and took a sip. Then he spat it all out. "Disaster. Nobody knows how to cook. We need to hire a chef stat. There are no gray areas when it comes to belief." She was sleeping soundly when she suddenly woke up. Anastasia. That voice. "Mother." "Anastasia, I'm so glad you're safe." "Mother, did you come to save me?" But her mother spoke coldly. "Anastasia, listen to me carefully. Alfheim, the elf empire, has fallen." Hearing these words was like a bolt from the blue. "Impossible. That's a lie." At that moment, a dragon appeared behind her. The Dragon King, Naga. Her mother began to blame her. "It's your fault." Because Anastasia disappeared from the battlefield, the balance of power was broken. And as a result, the kingdom was destroyed by the Dragon King, Naga. The Dragon King breathed a burst of fire at her. "Impossible." After a moment of frantic screaming, "Mother, was it a dream?" But Anastasia couldn't accept the truth and collapsed. "Shuten isn't here. I wonder if he went to look for food. 3 days have passed since I left the battlefield, but there's still no sign of rescue. The magic army of Alfheim is very strong, but they can't possibly stand against Naga. 3 days ago, our forces still had the upper hand on the battlefield. But if things continue like this, They will probably gradually lose. Is there no way to leave this island? As soon as possible? I have to ask Shuten if there's a way. Anastasia didn't just sit there anymore and started walking around. Because the branches are broken. This direction must be right. Right? I hear a voice. However, that's not Shuten's voice. What's going on? Aren't we the only people on this island? While wandering around, she came across Shuten. Huh? That's magic. What's going on? He can't use magic, can he? Could it be that he's been lying to me? Don't tell me that everything that's happened over the past few days was all just a trap to keep me on the island? No matter what, I have to contact the reinforcements. Anastasia, terrified, ran for her life. He's chasing me. Lightning swirl. Let the brilliant current become an iron thread, and by my enemy. Instantly, Shuten was surrounded by a stream of lightning. Lightning's sanctuary explode, but he could resist it with just his hands. This surprised Anastasia. He's laughing. Shuten covered Anastasia's mouth with his hand and pushed her down. Get down. Chill. Be quiet. It's a wild beast. I told you, didn't I? There are monsters on this island. That thing is extremely ferocious and possessive. If you even slightly trespass on its territory, it will immediately detect you and attack. On the contrary, it's also expanding its territory a lot. And that's the main reason why exploring. This island is so difficult. That's why I named it the Thorn Pig. Aggressive and narrow-minded. Actually, it's just a normal monster. This monster is a type of insect with Earth attribute magic that lives in the mountains. It's called an Earth Pig, even though it's just a low-level monster. Don't underestimate it if you can't use magic. After the boar left, Shuten quickly pulled Anastasia away. It won't bother us anymore if we leave its territory quickly before being discovered. But suddenly, the wild boar returned and attacked them. Unexpectedly, Shuten bravely shielded her, and the two fell off the cliff. Seeing him injured while protecting her, Anastasia cried out in pain. Shuten, are you okay? I'm fine. What about you? I took a risk jumping off the cliff, but we still managed to survive. At this distance, we should be safe. But after a while, he was finally able to walk again. Halfway through, Anastasia suddenly backed away, her voice sharp. How dare you deceive me? Who are you really? You're the reason I can't use magic. What are you talking about? I've never deceived you. Don't play innocent. I saw it. You were observing. A prisoner sealed in a cube of light. Without a doubt, that's high-level magic. The radiant sealing cube. Don't tell me at this point. Shuten took out his phone and explained. Are you talking about this? That's right. The only thing that can seal a person in such a small space is the radiant cube, although its shape is a little different. I see. So, you don't know what a smartphone is? A smartphone is a communication device, but there's no signal here, so I can't use it. However, it can also do many other things like watch videos. You probably saw a scene for video and thought it was magic. Look at these fruits. Eating them will kill you. Anastasia became suspicious. This is a recording from a vision? Is it created with magic? No. It's hard to explain how it's made. But you could say it's the realization of human technology. Perhaps. Suddenly, Anastasia sobbed. I'm so useless, aren't I? I couldn't complete the mission my father gave me. All I've done is wait helplessly to be rescued, while I can't do anything on this island. I'll let worry get the better of me and misunderstood you. I've caused trouble and even got you hurt. I'm truly, truly useless. Shuten spoke up again. That's not true. Just a moment ago, I discovered something only you can do. He held up his phone and said, as I said earlier, smartphones have many functions, besides making calls. And some of those functions are very useful for survival, like a flashlight or a compass. But unfortunately, each use consumes battery, and one day it will no longer be usable. Up until now, I've tried to conserve my phone's battery as much as possible, but you've just helped me solve that problem. The spell, Lightning Sanctuary Explode, that you used earlier, somehow charged my phone's battery by 1%. Is that really something to be happy about? Of course it is. I'm not a survival expert. Therefore, sometimes I lack the knowledge and don't know what to do. But this phone has a lot of videos and ebooks about survival, which are very useful in our current situation. The battery was almost dead, so to save power, I couldn't turn it on. But it would be great if you could charge it. Hearing him, Anastasia's face went blank. I don't really understand. But you're saying this is a very important role, right? That's right. Only you can do it. Please, I'm begging you. I guess I'll have to take this mission. At this point, Anastasia regained her usual confidence. I accept this very important mission. The phone charger. Just you wait. You'll never have to worry about charging again. Suddenly, a foot landed on a branch, near the two of them. Careful. Why don't you use anti-magic, you weakling? As soon as Anastasia saw her, her face turned pale. Impossible. As soon as the Dragon King, Naga, saw her, Anastasia was terrified. Dragon King Naga. Dragon King Naga. She wasn't wearing anything. Seeing Anastasia call out her name, Shuten wondered, an acquaintance of yours? Anastasia quickly explained. She's a member of the dragon race. Dragons possess a natural talent for magic. Although they are a minority race, they are a hostile force, on par with the elf empire, and she's called the Dragon King. She is the strongest creature among the dragons. The number of crazy people is increasing. At this point, Shuten shyly covered his eyes. But that girl isn't wearing anything. Dragons use a magic called transformation, which allows them to turn into giant dragons. Therefore, when preparing for battle, they take off their clothes and only wear a cloak. So, a temporary nudist. Should I tell her to put something on? Shuten suddenly shouted, Hey, your neck. It's injured. I think it's from the previous blow. She was aiming for my vital point. Not fun at all. Hey, your name's Naga, right? Shuten angrily snapped, Dragon King Naga. If I hadn't pulled Anastasia away, her artery would have been cut, and she would have died. You know that, right? You can't joke like that. Are you trying to kill this child? Hearing these words, Dragon King Naga became even more excited. She ran to attack them again, but he bravely stood in front of Anastasia to shield her. Anastasia, seeing this, screamed, Shuten. Dragon King Naga charged and rammed. Shuten flew back and then grabbed her head. She growled, What's wrong, little one? Why don't you use magic? Stop. At this moment, Shuten struggled to speak, try to defuse the situation. I don't really understand the current situation, but the three of us are trapped on this island. In this situation, fighting won't do anyone any good. But she said sharply, You're too noisy. You're a human, aren't you? Don't interfere in a duel between myself and that little one. You useless insect. For the past 55 years, dueling with that person has been my only pleasure. Hearing that, he thought to himself, a duel that lasted 55 years. I knew it. Is this girl the same? Dragon King Naga continued, and that's right. Why aren't you using magic? Now that I think about it, I'm feeling pretty drained too, after waking up from fainting. Well then, would you like to warm up with me a little? Suddenly, she punched Anastasia. Seeing this, Shuten shouted, What are you doing? Stop it. Then he rushed to shield Anastasia. Get out of the way, Anastasia. So you're looking for death. Fine. Then I'll start by crushing you first. With that, she raised her hand, intending to strike him, but Shuten nimbly dodged. He ducked and punched her hard in the stomach. A pitiful human dares to touch me. Shuten can fight on par with Naga. Remembering Shuten's earlier memories. Shuten, who are you really? A high school teacher? A high school teacher is just where I work. A school that gathers delinquent students and violence from all over Japan. The schoolyard is like a chaotic world, where not only school rules, but also the law are useless. Even the teachers have to use their strength to subdue the students. I am in charge of training those violent students with my own strength. At that school, I asked a veteran teacher if it was permissible to continue this Showa-era style of education with violent acts towards students in this Reiwa era. And he said, this school doesn't belong to the Reiwa or Showa eras. This is the Sengoku period. This is Sengoku High. Sengoku High. Supervising student education. Shuten Daiku. Anastasia spoke up. I don't really understand. But basically, you have knowledge of fighting, right? He replied. You could say that. I don't like violence. But if things continue, I won't hold back. So, can we stop here? Hearing this, Dragon King Naga laughed menacingly and said, What are you talking about? Then she leaped up. Before the main event, you have to help me warm up. Dragon's exploding claw. A blow from Dragon King Naga rained down. But for someone as skilled in martial arts as Shuten, dodging was as easy as flipping his hand. What just happened? A shockwave type attack. Dragon King Naga charged again, faster than before. This surprised him. This girl can use magic too? Dragon King Naga was not outmatched by Shuten. She breathed a burst of fire at Shuten. Impossible. She's breathing fire. What the hell is she? Is she a monster? How can I fight against an opponent like this? Seeing him flustered, Dragon King Naga gloated. What's wrong? You're just running away. Please play with me a little longer. How pathetic. This sloppy fighting style is not like you at all. Don't tell me. The reason you're not fighting with all you've got like usual is because you're afraid of my subordinates. So you're only using a small fraction of your power to test him. At this point, she suddenly said, "What was that?" At this point, the Dragon King, Naga, seemed to go berserk. Her power exploded. Don't mess with me. I'm the Dragon King. Humans are nothing more than insects to me. I don't even deign to look at you. All right, as you wish, I will transform and burn you to ashes with the scorching flames of a Dragon King. With that, Dragon King Naga transformed into a giant fire dragon, which even made Shuten feel scared. Shuten's eyes widened. Is that really a real dragon? Human, consider it an honor to die by the scorching flames of the Dragon King. Dragon King Naga said, when I turn this human to ashes, that little shrimp is next. Today is the day we settle everything. With that, she breathed fire at him and Anastasia. So now what? I knew it. Anastasia began to explain. A massive amount of mana is needed for a dragon's transformation. The reason she can transform in a place with scarce mana is because their bodies can store magic and mana. In an environment rich in mana, they can replenish it quickly. But here, once the mana in her body is depleted, it will be extremely difficult to replenish it. That's why she was able to temporarily activate skills that use magic and mana. Now that she's out of mana, she can't even use dragon techniques, let alone transform. She began to roar. I'm out of power. What are you doing to me? Is she still planning to fight? Naga's ability to not use magic is probably not that different from a normal person. Considering the previous battle, Shuten would have a chance of winning. Hearing these words, Dragon King Naga became even angrier and shouted, "You're talking nonsense. Me, lose to a human?" Dragon King Naga charged to attack once more. Just try if you can. And Shuten quickly blocked her kick. This woman, she's very strong, even without using any strange techniques. Is it because her physique was already superior from the start? In an instant, Dragon King Naga had Shuten in a chokehold. She raised her hand about to strike when he nimbly escaped. Oh no, Shuten, are you okay? I'm fine. I dodged in time, so I'm not hurt. Your nose is bleeding. No, it's just a scratch. Are these hot-headed girls too stimulating for a harsh life on a deserted island? Get a grip. Shuten Daiku. She's trying to kill you over there. You know that, right? After reassuring himself, but he was still outmatched by Dragon King Naga's surprise attack. Anastasia, beside him, nervously screamed, "Shuten!" Dragon King Naga laughed triumphantly. Are you finally getting serious? The act of self-harm boosts morale and, significantly, enhances physical abilities. That's the secret technique of the Berserker. Berserker's Spirit Awakening. That's right. Release worldly desires. Release worldly desires. Release worldly desires. Release worldly desires. It's just fat. It's just fat. Seeing him not making a move, she became even more smug. All right, I will drain all my mana and magic and respond to that seriousness. What's with that middle finger? Seeing her unleash her claws, Shuten asked in fear, "What? Is that a claw?" Before he could get an answer, the Dragon King Naga had already charged. That's a dragon claw. Even in this state, she still maintains the ability to slash through ordinary swords and armor. Anastasia was beside herself with worry. Shuten, your face is already scratched. Blood flowed from it. The reason Shuten didn't attack was to find an opportunity to counter. He used the knife he had ready and suddenly cut off her claws. Dragon King Naga was also surprised. That knife is a magic weapon made from elf magic, or after losing her claws. Success? He delivered a downward blow in front of her. The Dragon King Naga took the full force of the punch, screamed, and fell to the ground. Anastasia was also surprised to see this. You defeated her? That was a direct hit to the jaw. So she's probably just knocked out for a bit. Let's tie her up with some clothes before she wakes up. Then, Shuten turned his head and told Anastasia, What's wrong? Because she's naked. I can't decide whether to dress her first, or tie her up first. Anastasia pouted. Isn't Shuten dash? Tono's concern for Naga's naked body. A little much. Then he continued, That's right. I'll return this. Seeing him act like that, Anastasia asked, Are you angry? For the past few days, Shutendano has been using rough objects like rocks and shells as knives. But even when I had a knife, I kept quiet the whole time. So it's only natural that you're angry, right? But Shuten just replied gently, I'm not angry. You always carry such a beautiful knife with you. So there must be something important, right? We need to make use of everything around us to survive. But having something that gives you emotional support is also very important. If you're captured by the enemy on the battlefield, you may be tortured and tormented. Hearing this, Anastasia also gradually showed the compassion of a maiden. This is a charm my mother gave me when I went to war, and it's also a knife that I can use to end my own life if need be. This knife is said to be cursed, to allow one to die a painless death if stabbed in the heart. Obviously, I have no intention of using it in a place like this. Either way, this is a precious charm my mother gave to me. That's why I've decided to entrust it to you. Shuten dono. I'm sure it will be of great help to survive here. As she spoke, she offered the knife to Shuten. Shuten asked, bewildered, Is that okay? Giving me such a precious item? If it's you, Shutendano. Anastasia smiled gently at him and said, You can use this suicide knife to open a path to tomorrow. I'm sure of it. Seeing the trust in Anastasia's eyes, he also felt happy. You can trust in me. We will escape this deserted island together. At that moment, the Dragon King Naga woke up. She was like a well-behaved puppy. That punch earlier was quite impressive. My head is still spinning. She had extended her claws to cut the cloth that bound her. I didn't expect to lose to you. For a human, you're pretty good. What? Don't tell me you're still planning to continue. Hey you, the Dragon King Naga suddenly stood up and said with certainty, Impregnate me. Both of them were horrified. You want Shutendano to impregnate you? How shameless. Disgraceful. Why the sudden request? The Dragon King Naga freely shared. This is a custom of the Dragon Clan, a lineage of the Dragon Clan. Female dragonoids will mate with male dragons, who are stronger than them to produce strong dragonoid offspring. That is the reason why they will usually bear children for the male dragon, who defeats them in combat. I'm the strongest dragonoid in the entire Dragon Clan. Therefore, no male dragon has ever defeated me. Rejoice! You have won the prize of impregnating my noble body. Now make me pregnant. But to Shuten, this was utterly ridiculous. What are you saying? That's obviously impossible. Shutendano then rested his chin on his hand and said, To be honest, I think having a child on a deserted island with limited resources would be very difficult. First of all, there's no necessary nutrition during pregnancy and absolutely no medical care. If something happens during childbirth, there won't be any doctors to help. There are no facilities. It's too dangerous for both mother and child. Furthermore, after the baby is born, everything will be extremely difficult. It's hard to get milk, clean water, and the daily necessities a baby needs. What will you do if it gets sick? Furthermore, there is absolutely no educational environment here. Therefore, I don't think raising a child is realistic. And in the first place, I don't think it's easy to have sexual desires in a situation where we can't even meet our own basic needs to survive, right? Are you seriously considering this? But his words only made her more determined to not give up. Looks like there's some misunderstanding. This isn't a request. I'm saying, either you do as I say, or I'll have to force you. The tiny Anastasia thought, force? But I'm not feeling well today, so I'll do it another day. Let's fight again when I'm feeling better. Seeing her leave, Anastasia quickly asked, Where are you going? The Dragon King Naga turned her head and replied with a smile, I'm hungry, so I'm going to find some food. Suddenly, Shuten called out, Wait, I was wondering if you'd like to join us. Shutendano, it seems there's some history between you two, but in this situation, if we help each other, our chances of survival will surely be higher. But the Dragon King Naga was haughty. Her voice was slightly mocking. I'm the Dragon King. You know, I don't need to live in a pack like humans. As if I'd be friends with you. She's gone. Just like that. Anastasia also had some thoughts. I can't imagine that even Naga has come all this way. But looking at her from the previous fight, she's in very good condition, just like when I first came to this island. Could there be a way to recover magic and mana? If that's true, what should I do? What if she attacks again after she recovers? Suddenly, Sheldon came up to her and called, Anastasia, let's go back to camp now. We need to treat our wounds, right? He poured water on his hand and gently tended to Anastasia. Here, use this to wash your wound. She replied softly, isn't drinking water very precious? Is it okay to use it just to wash a wound? That's right, but I'm more worried if we keep using dirty water. The wound will get more infected. Since there are no doctors or medicine here, a minor illness can become a serious one. So for safety, it's better to use boiled and filtered water like this. Anastasia accepted it, but was a little unhappy. Seeing this, he offered, do you not know how to treat wounds? She frowned and shook her head, saying, healing magic can usually handle wounds easily. So I don't know what the primitive methods are. Let me do it. Open your collar. So Shuten directly washed Anastasia's wound. She cried out in pain. Be gentle. That hurts. It stings a little, but it doesn't hurt. A moment later, he sprayed some alcohol on her skin, making her scream. What are you doing? It's an antiseptic. It stings and hurts a little, but please bear with it. This is very useful because it can disinfect the skin as well as wounds. You didn't do it on purpose, so I'll forgive you. Her eyes were half closed. Anastasia asked him softly about the claw in his pocket. By the way, Shutendano, why did you take the claw that Naga broke? Shuten laughed with delight and replied, this claw is strong enough to easily cut through 3 tree trunks. So I thought I could use it to make some tools. He took it out. To nonchalantly take someone else's claw like that. Unbelievable. Anastasia then offered, can I borrow it for a moment? A normal Dragonkin's claws are strong enough to cut through steel. Even weapons made of magic or can't cut it easily. As expected, it seems to be the same for me. The blessing and protection is slowly losing its effect on her due to a lack of mana. The elven race is born with many protective magics, and I believe that other races are also blessed with different attributes like us. The elven blessing also includes magic that enhances physical abilities. Then she plucked a strand of hair from her head and said, look, although this strand of hair came out with just a small pull, the rest is still strong and not easily broken. See, that part is stronger because it grew before coming to the island, when the protective magic was still effective. However, the hair that grew on the island when the mana was weak and the protective magic was interrupted breaks easily like this. Seeing this, Sheldon also believed it to be true. At first, I wondered why Naga wasn't affected by the mana on this island, but thinking back, maybe it's simply because she came to the island after me. Speaking of which, suddenly, he climbed into the bed made of grass and plants. Anastasia, finding this strange, asked, tell me, what are you doing in my bed? Shuten, as if he had an idea, said, I've been thinking about this ever since I saw Naga's claw. The tip of this claw is curved in a very interesting way. So I was wondering if I could turn it into a fishing rod. And your hair is strong. So I was wondering if we braid it a little, it could become a professional fishing line. If we connect them, we'll have a fishing rod. Let's go try it right now. Anastasia, her face cold, thought to herself casually, using other people's hair and nails to make materials is normal for humans? Finally, the two of them went fishing at the beach. Sullivan Dano, she spoke up and asked, are you really going to be friends with Naga? Shuten turned his head and replied, if I remember correctly, you said the elves and the Dragonkin are at war with each other, right? And judging by your behavior earlier, it seems there's some deep-seated relationship between you two. But Anastasia pouted, annoyed. It's just a worthless relationship. As the strongest female warriors in our respective clans, each of us, Naga and I, have dueled many times for political reasons. However, we were evenly matched. And even after 5 years, we still haven't determined a winner. I don't like fighting, but it seems Naga was very happy to find a worthy opponent. Ever since our first confrontation, she's always been sticking to me, challenging me to another duel. What a selfish battle maniac. He found her childishness amusing and asked, how old are you, Anastasia? but she puffed up her cheeks and scolded. How rude. Asking a woman her age is impolite, you know. I'm 148 years old. Hearing this, Shuten silently acknowledged that it was true. If dragons exist, then an elf who looks like a middle school student being over 100 years old isn't impossible. Regardless of our personal relationship, Naga and I possess the power to change the outcome of wars between nations. Anastasia said with a grim face. I don't think I have time for someone like that. As Silver walked, he thought to himself, perhaps all this talk of magic and war that this girl is saying isn't just a fantasy. Honestly, this is too crazy. I don't know what to think anymore. But now I have no choice but to accept what she says. There's a story called Bitter Enemies on the same boat. Then he suddenly began to tell a story. It is said that the people of Wu and Yu, who were originally enemies, boarded the same boat and cooperated when they encountered a storm. It teaches that even enemies need to cooperate when facing a common threat. I don't know much about your situation, and I have no right to tell you what to do. But as long as we're on this island, I think we should put aside our old grudges and resolve our conflicts after we leave this island safely. And finally, if we can utilize each other's strengths, our chances of survival will increase significantly. Speaking of which, Sheldon suddenly stopped and pulled hard on the fishing line. Before Anastasia's surprised eyes, Sheldon held up the fish and said with a smile, "Don't you think it's also like this fishing rod?" So that evening, they enjoyed a delicious grilled fish. Anastasia ate several in a row. Then she glanced over at Sheldon. After eating their fill, they went to collect things along the beach. Yesterday, we ate fish and found a lot of useful things. So overall, things went pretty smoothly, huh? Even though it wasn't a big fish. It felt like this was our first proper meal since coming to the island. Anastasia said cheerfully, I hope we catch fish today, too. But after walking for a while, they came across the Dragon King Naga. Over there, impossible. Isn't that Naga? Hey, the person lying over there. He spoke up. I know this person. It's Naga. What on earth happened? You're bleeding. Are you hurt? For now, let's take her back to camp. Shuten shouted as he carried her on his back. Let's go. To the camp. Shuten examined Naga all over and said, now that I look closely, this wound is inflamed and there's even pus coming out. Furthermore, she has a very high fever. Could it be because of this wound too? Impossible. Could it be a fever from an infection from the wound? If so, this is bad. She needs antibiotics. If we don't have the right medicine, then in the worst case scenario, she could die. For now, let's just do the best we can with what we have. Anastasia asked with concern, Shutendano, are you going to save Naga? Even though she was trying to kill us yesterday, Shuten is a truly kind young man. But even so, we can't just let her die. Sterilize the water and cloth by boiling them, then use them to clean the wound. As he poured the sterilized water on Naga, she suddenly swung her arm. Luckily, he managed to dodge in time. Is the wound that painful? Even in this state, she's still so fierce. Anastasia felt a pang of jealousy. She requested in a low voice, Shutendano, I'll help too. Could you please hold Naga down for me? Shutendono. Anastasia, he reminded her from the side. Remember, do as I showed you. Wash the wound with water, then gently wipe away any sand or dirt with a cloth. Anastasia, following his instructions, carefully performed each movement. Naga, in pain, struggled relentlessly. She swung her arm, attacking Shuten, but Shuten managed to block it in time. I've got her restrained. Pulit now. Hearing this, Naga quickly tried to escape. He also quickly grabbed her. I won't let you escape. After grabbing Naga, he used his hands to lock her in place. Anastasia shuddered. Calm down. After a struggle, she finally calmed down. It seemed she had no more strength to resist. I don't know if she's just exhausted. Okay. Now, just spray the antiseptic on the wound. Shuten's hand, which had just sprayed a little, caused Naga to let out a blood-curdling scream. She began to struggle. Shuten once again had to use his strength to restrain her. At that moment, Anastasia jumped in and held Naga down. Careful, Anastasia. I'm fine. Naga looks very weak. Hold on tight. She can't move any more like this. Disinfect quickly while you have the chance. Shuten yelled. I'm about to pour it. I'm going to pour it all out. Hurry up. Pour it all out, he finished. One person held her limbs, and the other poured the disinfectant. which made Naga feel a burning sensation, a piercing pain that made her scream. After a struggle, it was finally over. Finally finished treating the wound. Let her rest for a bit. Anastasia frowned worriedly. She has a fever, so we need to make sure she doesn't get dehydrated. Shutendono. We used up a bottle and a half of water to wash the wound. We only have one bottle of water left. Shuten, despite the previous words, tried to maintain his composure. He stood up and said, complaining is useless. Let's go. Let's go find more water. I'll help too. When we returned to the place where we got water 2 days ago, the water source there had dried up. So we went back to the beach many times to look for empty bottles. We collected the remaining water from the bottles we found. With some luck, we managed to fill one bottle. Before the sun set, we went fishing. We caught a small fish and a crab. We also collected some clams and went back. To be honest, the situation wasn't very good. Food and water were already scarce. And now, with a sick person, it's even more scarce. Shuten was still tenderly caring for Naga. Here, drink some water. Shutendano had given his share of water to Naga, without drinking a drop himself. If this keeps up, Sir Shutendano will surely collapse. And in the next second, he bent down and pressed his face close to Naga's. This startled Anastasia, who screamed, "What are you doing?" Shuten touched her forehead and replied, "My hands are hot from cooking just now. So I'm using my forehead to check her body temperature, like this." With that, he repeated the action one more time and said to Anastasia, "You can tell if someone has a fever by gently pressing your forehead against theirs and comparing it to your own temperature. You can also check with your hand. But hand temperature changes erratically, so the forehead is more reliable." But Anastasia screamed in indignation, "I know. You don't have to show me." She thought resentfully, is Shutendano being too nice to Naga? Thinking this, she shouted angrily, "Shutendano, you idiot." But he just smiled and replied, "We've done our best. Now all we can do is let her rest and hope she recovers. It's no good. Time has passed, but it's still the same. The fever hasn't gone down at all. As expected, she needs antibiotics. To put it simply, bacteria have entered through the wound and caused an infection. Bacteria have entered through the wound and caused an infection. We use antibiotics to kill the bacteria and prevent the infection from getting worse. So what if we don't have antibiotics? Right now, she can only rely on her own resistance. Right now, she can only rely on her own resistance." Hearing this, Anastasia, standing beside him, could only sigh. But after a moment of thought, Anastasia spoke up again. "There is still a way to help Naga. Really, the reason why races that are blessed with magic, like us, are immune to most diseases and toxins, is because we are protected by many different types of protective magic. Magic cannot be cast without enough mana. Therefore, Naga is completely unable to fight off the disease right now. That also means the opposite. If we can activate the protective magic in her body, we might be able to cure her. However, in a mana-scarce place like this, to cast magic, it requires a large amount of magic power and mana summoning. The amount of megapixels needed to cast magic. Currently, Naga cannot activate her protective magic on her own. But if we use a conversion spell to transfer magic power from another person, she might be able to partially activate her protective magic, and her condition will improve. Do I have magic power? If so, I should transfer it to her. Unfortunately, but the magic power of a human who has never practiced magic is very weak. However, Shutendano has very strong life force, and there's a way to convert physical energy into magic power and transfer it to her. Hearing this idea, Sullivan felt a surge of excitement. But Anastasia reminded him, think carefully. For this magic to be most effective, you need to maintain physical contact with her for over half a day. Furthermore, you may have to repeat this 2 or 3 times. She said slowly, each time, your physical strength will be drained, leaving you completely exhausted. Our resources are depleted. If you collapse too, we might really be doomed. Are you still want to save Naga? Body temperature isn't the only thing that can be transferred through skin-to-skin contact. We're dead for sure. He looked at Anastasia and acknowledged, this girl is right. We don't have enough resources to take care of 3 people at once, especially when someone is injured. But There's a way to convert physical strength into magic power. We just need more resources. Damn it, conversion. Thinking this, Shuten turned and ran away. He shouted, "Why am I so obsessed with searching? Didn't we pick up an iron bucket yesterday? If we use it to boil seawater, we can separate the salt from the water and convert seawater into fresh water. However, how do we collect the steam?" At this point, Shuten had a brilliant idea. That's right. Why didn't I realize it sooner? We already have all the necessary ingredients. Seeing him fumbling with his hands, Anastasia asked, "What are you trying to do?" Being a clever person like Shuten, he quickly replied, "I'm making a distillation kit. The principle is very simple. Boil the seawater and collect the steam that rises. That way, we'll get drinkable water." I thought we were short on materials, but with a little clever improvisation, it'll work. As he spoke, Shuten expertly set to work. Boil the water in the bucket and cover it tightly. Then we'll need another tube to pipe the steam to a container. This chair can do both. The chair legs are hollow, so if we remove the rubber stopper here, they can be used as a perfect conduit. Then drill a hole in the seat of the chair and thread the chair leg through it. And so, the distillation apparatus is complete. Shuten yelled, ordering Anastasia, "Let's try it right now. Give me some seawater." Got it. She quickly fetched seawater and brought it to him. Shuten, after a bit of experimenting, finally got results. After an hour, we've collected about 300 milliliters of fresh water. He then directly put it to his lips to taste. Then he turned and invited Anastasia. "You should try it too." Anastasia, after tasting the fresh water that Shuten himself had made, her eyes widened in surprise. "This is truly pure water. Amazing. It was seawater at first, right? I can't believe such a simple device can create drinkable water." At first, I just saw this chair as a normal chair, but when I look at the individual parts, I realize that they can be used for different things. At this point, Shuten let out a satisfied smile. He said, "The secret to survival is flexible thinking and adapting to the environment." But Anastasia said, "But the food issue is still a big problem. The conversion of physical strength into magic consumes an enormous amount of energy. After that process, you might be ravenously hungry. So how are you going to get food? When you're exhausted?" The more Shuten heard, the more confused he became. "In that case, we should prepare food in advance. It should be fine if we set some traps to catch animals." But Sheldon couldn't hear a word of it. He said in a resolute voice, "Anastasia, I want to help Naga, and there's a way to save her, while also getting more resources. But I need your help. Can you lend me your strength?" Seeing the look on Shuden's face, Anastasia couldn't refuse. "I guess I have no other choice. I'll support you." "Really? Thank you so much. However, if a situation arises that threatens Shudendano's life, I will stop casting. Is that all right?" He nodded in agreement. "All right. Good. Let's start the strategy meeting." So the two of them got to work. Each person had their own job, and no one bothered the other. Sheldon was in charge of finding food sources. As for Anastasia, she stayed behind to continue boiling water to get fresh water. Day by day, Anastasia became more and more adept at producing fresh water and successfully helped Naga get healthier every day. He spoke up, "Today, we spent the whole day distilling and collected 4 bottles of pure water, although there's still room for improvement. But that's pretty good for a first time." Naga had a fever, so she needed more water than usual, but it's enough for everyone for now. I've set some animal and fish traps to mark them. I stuck wooden sticks into plastic bottles and left them next to it. I also tested them, and they work well. So now all we have to do is wait for the prey to fall into the trap. But even though Naga rested for a whole day, her fever showed no signs of breaking. "It seems we'll have to rely on magic after all. Let's begin," Anastasia said, and the two of them got to work. Anastasia clumsily drew a magic circle in the sand. He stood by impressed. "So, this is a magic circle. By the way, what do I have to do?" Anastasia said in a harsh tone. "Please take off all your clothes and hold Naga until morning." Hearing this, Shuden showed his displeasure, but Anastasia wasn't happy about it either. In such a mana-scarce environment, the most effective way to transfer mana is through direct skin contact. Hearing this, Shuden reluctantly had to comply. "Why are you making such a fuss? This is a noble act to save a life. Saving a life is my top priority. There are absolutely no ulterior motives. He lay down and held Naga tightly, though a bit awkward. Anastasia, on the other hand, began to cast her magic, Breath of the Earth. I offer the life force that flows within my body. My blood will become a raging flood. My heartbeat will become roaring thunder. The flame of life burns bright, and this place will overflow with mana. The brilliant light of the sun colors the earth. Young souls soar through the sky. The path to power may be arduous, but sing along with your friends. O youth, O Mother Earth, please answer my prayer. Grant me the breath of the soul, the endless flow of mana, Gaia, Ether Ion Sengoku. My beloved school, the flower of wisdom blooms under the vast sky. Though the road may be steep, walk with the honor of youth. O youth, Sengoku, my beloved school. After using her magic, she quietly went to the sea, deep in thought. Was it because I used too much mana? Why does my heart ache so? Why was Anastasia so angry and annoyed right now? Shouldn't I know? You fool, are you being a little too nice to Naga? Enduring hunger and thirst, sharing your food and drink with someone you just met. You have no obligation to risk your life to help her. She sat huddled up, sadly scolding Shuden in her thoughts. He's the same with me. That's just the kind of person he is, and that's why I truly trust him. So, it's morning already? My body feels so heavy. I did hear that. The after effects of the magic could leave me exhausted, but I didn't think it would be to the point where I can't move. As the sky was just starting to lighten, just as he was waking up, he was met with the sight of 2 mountains before him. He was startled awake. Naga. She was also fully recovered. She asked in a gruff voice, "Where is this? Why are you here?" "Oh, that's right. Come to think of it, we didn't finish last time, did we? Let's make a baby." Hearing that, Shuden's face turned pale. "What? This is bad. Right now, I don't have the strength to stop Naga anymore." She moved even closer to Shuden's body. In this situation, he couldn't help but panic. Wait, I said this is dangerous." Shuden was terrified. "This is bad. I can't escape." Just then, Anastasia arrived. I brought back some seawater. Seeing the two of them, she was startled. "What's with this position? Are you crying? What did I do to you?" Shuden covered his face. "It's nothing. I don't have much strength left now. So could you help me move her? I'm not very confident in my strength, but I'll try." After giving Naga acupuncture, she suddenly exclaimed, "Her fever is almost gone." "Really? That's great. What's wrong?" Shuden now seemed exhausted. "Shouldn't I know? I can't move. I knew it would be draining, but I didn't expect to be this exhausted. In the end, I had to gather all my strength just to sit up. But after a while, he managed to sit up with great effort. His face clearly showed his exhaustion. "I'm so hungry. What should I do?" "Shouldn't I know? I was wrong. I thought we'd have food after setting the traps, but I didn't expect to lose so much strength that I couldn't even walk." Anastasia bowed her head and asked, "Can you tell me where you set the traps? I'll go get the prey." Hearing this, he opened his eyes wide and looked at her, replying, "You'll go get them? That's right. Well then, take my bag with you. Once you've got the prey, just put it in the bag." "Got it. I'm off." And with that, Anastasia set off. She found a net by the sea and lifted it up. Small fish poured out of it, surprising and flustering her. But after a while of searching right where the trap was, a rat was lying there, making Anastasia's face turn pale. But Sheldon was extremely calm. He gutted it and prepared it. He cooked it into a delicious meal for the two of them. Anastasia sat next to Naga. She always carefully monitored her condition. Naga's fever had gone down significantly. At this rate, she'll probably be fully recovered by tomorrow. I can't believe that just one use of the flow, Gale, cured her. Sheldon also suddenly spoke up. "To be honest, I couldn't help but worry a little while helping Naga. In such a difficult situation, I couldn't do anything about her illness, and I despaired of my own helplessness. When you said you could heal her, I found hope. I panicked for a moment when I couldn't move. The fact that you stepped up to take care of everything really helped a lot. Thanks to you, we were able to overcome this crisis. Thank you for your help, Anastasia." Hearing these words, Anastasia was overjoyed. "Now you realize how great I, the Millennial Archmage, really am." After a long and eventful night, Shuden awoke with a start. "I feel like I've been asleep for a long time." He saw Naga raising her claws, standing before Anastasia. He shouted in alarm, "Hey, what are you doing?" Anastasia. It turned out they were just hunting a hare. Anastasia recounted. "She suddenly threw this rabbit at me while I was sleeping. So this blood is from the rabbit? Wait, so there are rabbits on this island? With that, Anastasia turned and asked Naga, what are you going to do with this thing? What am I going to do? She said with a smug expression, it's simple. Support. I caught 2 rabbits. So I'm giving you one. It'll be a hassle for me if you little people go hungry. Anyway, we haven't settled the score between us yet. Shuden interrupted Naga. You said you caught 2, right? That blood stain on your mouth. Did you eat it raw? That's right. Naga began to explain. The Dragonkin. We greatly value the flavor of our ingredients, so we eat them raw, especially the entrails. They're the best part, but it's best not to eat raw food here. I've heard that your bodies are enhanced by defensive magic, right? But the mana here is scarce, so you can't rely on the enhancing effects of magic. So even wounds and bacteria become a threat. You should stop eating things that are likely to give you a stomachache. I see. So that's why I've been feeling under the weather lately. I see. Well then, that's settled. Normally, a pig like that, I'd take care of in one go. A pig. Could it be that wound on your leg is... I was hungry, so I went to hunt a wild boar. In the end, it kicked me, but it didn't get away unscathed either. Savage. Hearing her story, Anastasia just rolled her eyes and asked, if you lost to that wild boar, wouldn't you have gotten pregnant with its child? She immediately screamed. What did you say? That boar was a female. What? Once I'm done with that pig, it'll be your turn, little one. I'm looking forward to our duel. Seeing her being unreasonable, Shuden spoke up, reminding Naga, could you reconsider one more time about joining the group? As long as we're on this island, you still won't be able to use your full power. Is that really what you want? Or we could cooperate to get off this island, and then you can fight all you want. Hearing that, she once again brought up the matter from the morning. By the way, is your softness also because of the lack of mana? No, that is. Hearing his little brother being called soft, Shuden could only bite his teeth in embarrassment. That's right, soft. Okay, really? He turned and asked Anastasia. Anastasia, what do you think? Though her face showed reluctance, she still expressed her trust in him. I trust Shudendano's judgment. So just do as you please. Anastasia, well then, it's settled. We'll put our old grudges aside until we leave the island. Let's work together to get out of this place. Anastasia sternly asked Naga, what are you planning to so easily agree to the offer? And Naga's decision is, I want to leave this island soon, so I can have my fill of fighting with you, little one. Besides, for some reason, I suddenly really want to have a baby with you. As she spoke, she pulled on Shuden's shirt. Hearing that, Anastasia screamed in horror. Let's get off this island quickly. Cure that softness, and get me pregnant. You lecherous dragon. How can you always say things like that? What's wrong with you? Before doing that sacred act, you have to hold hands and hug first. What? So you have those feelings too? Seeing Anastasia's flustered state, Naga suddenly had an idea. Well then, you should get pregnant too. I see. Then let's see which one of us will give birth to a stronger heir. This won't do. I knew I couldn't get along with this stupid dragon with a twisted way of thinking. Will it be all right? Are you afraid of losing? I knew it. I'm the strongest. One day, there will be no place to escape. The survival ability of a dragon king is, Anastasia said to Shuden, although you had diarrhea and were vomiting all day yesterday, it seems you're much better now. Just looking at him, Shuden realized, I must have gotten food poisoning. That's why I told you to cook them before eating. My body is so weak now that I feel cold. So, you finally feel like wearing clothes? At that moment, Naga's expression turned grim. I'm so hungry. Is there anything to eat? This morning, I caught a lot of clams. She growled. My God, no matter how much of that stuff I stuff in my mouth, I never feel full. It's so frustrating. The Dragon King. Naga, I will show you what true hunting is like. This feeling is a little familiar. I don't want to argue. Naga went directly to the shore. Seeing this, Shuden asked, are you going to go fishing? You've just recovered, don't overdo it. Without waiting long, she dove into the sea to catch fish. And as expected, Naga also caught the first fish. Got it. Incredible. Her swimming speed far exceeds human capabilities. There's a bigger one over there. I caught a big one. She excitedly threw the small fish away. She lunged to catch the bigger fish. There's an even bigger one over there. Got it. Hey, that one's even bigger. Got it. That one's... Naga, Before she could hunt the big fish, she missed her footing and swallowed water. After coming ashore, Naga coughed violently. Shuden hurriedly patted her on the back. In the end, she overdid it. "How are you? Do you feel any better?" Seeing this, Anastasia couldn't help but cover her face and giggle. Seeing Anastasia's contemptuous gaze, she shouted angrily, "What's with that look? You were just looking down on me, weren't you? Calm down. I'll go get some fresh water." Damn it. What's wrong with this body? Why am I in such a pathetic state? This girl has extraordinary physical abilities, but the problem is her control over her strength is still quite poor. In the past few days, the group had caught small fish and crabs, a rat and a rabbit. Besides, they also managed to get some seaweed and edible plants. But it's still not enough to meet our daily protein, carbohydrate, and fat needs. I'm starting to feel a little tired too. What's more, Naga just recovered from being sick, but she's always running around like the wind. At that moment, Anastasia ran up and called out, "Shudendano, something big has happened. Our tent. What is this?" After seeing the mess, they gradually realized these footprints were made by the pig. "What? Are you saying its territory has expanded this far?" "If that's the case," Shuden said in a serious tone, "this place isn't safe anymore. We have to leave here immediately. For now, let's move our base to this place." Although they had moved most of their things, half of the 10 plastic bottles they collected were damaged. The worst thing is that the bucket is broken. Naga's expression also turned grim. She spat out each word with anger. "To dare to invade our territory. This pig has some nerve. Wait a minute. Where are you going?" "It's looking for a fight. So of course I'm going to fight back. Don't be ridiculous. You know how dangerous it is, don't you? If you confront it head on, you not only get hurt badly, you understand? But if we don't catch that pig, it will come back to attack us again." Hearing her, Shield thought to himself, "She's right. So far, I've tried to stay as far away from its territory as much as possible. But the boar, Mohawk, is aggressive and is definitely expanding its territory. At this rate, we'll have nowhere left to hide. For some reason, every time I enter its territory, I get the feeling that one day we'll have to fight it. But that monster, it's extremely ferocious and as big as a bull. If we make one mistake, we're dead for sure." Anastasia suddenly spoke up. "Shudendano, that thing went crazy and put out the fire. Let's make a fire first. Maybe we could defeat it if we have fire." "Really? So then," Shuden energetically rubbed the wooden sticks together to make fire. Seeing the two of them busy with something, Naga also felt curious. "What are you doing? Making a fire? How pathetic. Are you having trouble even starting a fire?" The Dragon King. "Naga, I will show you how to do it properly." As soon as she finished speaking, she screamed until her throat was hoarse. But nothing happened, and she even got a disdainful look from Anastasia. So the three of them worked together to make a fire. After a while, smoke started to rise. "Shudendano, I think there's some smoke coming up." "Excellent. Don't make me laugh. Making a big deal out of a little bit of fire. Let me show you what a real fire is." Naga bent down, about to breathe fire, but nothing happened. "Hey, don't push yourself too hard." But she threw up nothing but seawater, extinguishing it. "Naga, I told you not to push yourself too hard." While he was talking, Naga suddenly breathed fire right into Shuden's face. He screamed loudly, "My beard is on fire. See? I've started a bigger fire." Anastasia began to chant a spell to make the flame even stronger. "Brilliant light, gather in the palm of my hand. Oh, searing flame, grant me your power. Now, obey my will and merge into one source. Oh, flame, devour the fireball. Pierce the enemy and turn everything to ash." A fireball. As she finished speaking, she threw the spell towards a nearby coconut tree. It immediately caught fire and started to smoke. Shuden, seeing this, was also amazed. "Amazing. You can control fire too?" After the incident with Naga, I also researched how to use magic here. Anastasia also gradually realized that the most effective way was not to use mana to create the elements, but to borrow strength from the things that already exist on this island. A Kick-Hog is an earth-type monster. Its weakness is fire-type explosion magic. The power of this magic increases the more fire elements there are. It can also be used as explosion magic. To be honest, fighting monsters is very dangerous. However, if the Kick-Hog continues to expand its territory, we'll eventually have no choice but to fight it. So, I want to hear everyone's opinion. Suddenly, Naga came over and patted her on the back. Good job, she said, and then turned to boast to Shuden. Did you hear that? Our weapon is ready. Of course we have to fight. In that case, let's start planning. Hey, that plan we talked about this morning. Shudendano, who are you? Are you talking about my beard? A part of my beard fell out, so I shave it all off. Does it look strange? Don't you look much cleaner and neater now? What's with that feminine face? You should grow your beard back immediately. Let's start the operation. There's no turning back now. At this moment, the three of them were brimming with fighting spirit. Being late will cause a chain reaction. At this moment, the huge and ferocious wild boar was growling, standing before Naga. She was not afraid and looked straight into its eyes. Her voice was sharp. Well, don't you want revenge for your crushed left eye? Well, you're looking for my extreme self, aren't you? Hearing that, the mad pig went berserk. It charged towards Naga. Shuden also instinctively knew. She's in danger. They're coming this way. Just hold on a little longer, Anastasia. Anastasia was trying to cast a spell. Flashing back to an hour ago, everyone was preparing their belongings. They went to gather dry firewood. Is that enough? That should be fine. Then, they began to set up. Anastasia will prepare the magic here, and Naga will lure the monster to that exact spot. As soon as it's in range, Anastasia will deliver the finishing blow with her magic. That's the whole plan. It sounds simple, but it's not that easy in reality. First, this magic will drain all of my energy, both magical and physical. Therefore, I can only cast it once. Furthermore, this spell requires 40 minutes of chanting to be ready to activate. While casting, I will be completely immobile. If the Kickhog detects me, it will charge and attack immediately. Therefore, I must chant the spell before it gets close. The crucial factor that determines the success of the entire plan is whether we can lure the Kickhog into range just as the magic is completed. After chanting, the magic can be maintained in a ready-to-fire state, but it will absorb magic, so it can't be maintained for long. At most, it can be held for about 3 minutes. Hearing her, Shield also felt a little hesitant. If we can't take it down in that time. Naga then crossed her arms and spoke. We're dead for sure. Surely my role is not just to lure it, right? I hope that's all. If you hit it in the head, you might be able to take it down in one blow. If it only hits the body, it might not be a finishing blow, but it might be able to immobilize it. Depending on the situation then, we'll decide whether to continue fighting or retreat. Seeing the plan was a bit convoluted, Naga complained. What a troublesome spell. Show us something more impressive. At that question, she calmly replied, this magic was created from scratch to adapt to this environment. There is no more effective spell, so I just need to protect you while you're unable to move, right? I once thought about using Shudendano as bait, but since the Kickhog is much faster, I finally decided to use Naga, who is more agile. I'm starting my chant now. As she finished speaking, Anastasia quickly got into position, waving her hand to summon the magic. A stream of magic appeared under her hand. Silver. At this moment, he could also hear the sound of the wild boar charging. Just a little longer. The sound is getting closer. Just hold on a little longer. After Naga successfully lured the wild boar to the designated spot, it immediately fell into the trap. Not willing to be an eyesore, she threw down the thing she was holding. She lunged to attack it. Damn pig. Don't look down on me. What? Why did it stop before reaching the beach? He was starting to lose his composure. Why is it taking so long? What is Naga doing? Anastasia, on the other hand, was exhausted and out of breath. Her face turned grim. Hey, are you okay? I'm screwed. Shuden's voice faded away. Naga, meanwhile, was grappling with the charging wild boar. Shilden shouted, why are they struggling with each other? Naga, dodge. Pierce the enemy. Burn everything to ash. Anastasia immediately unleashed her Ignis Fireball spell. Instantly, her spell hit the wild boar dead on. It was hit with a painful blow and didn't have time to recover. Silden, panting, asked, did we do it? But the answer he received was no. It failed. It hit the hardest part of its body, that damn rock armor. So, does that mean it's completely unharmed? Amidst Sudden's screams, the boar changed its target to them. Seeing this, he quickly grabbed Anastasia and ran. The plan failed. Let's retreat. Carrying another person, Naga's running speed would decrease. If they run into the forest, they could use the trees as a shield. Obstacle. but it relentlessly pursued the two of them. Then it rammed straight into Shuten. Seeing this, Anastasia screamed, "Shutendano, even if the universe perishes, it is something that will burn once more." He was sent flying. Anastasia screamed worriedly. Shutendano, the wild boar, was still charging towards the two of them. This time, its target was Anastasia. "I can't move." Surprisingly, Naga wrapped her arms around it from behind, taking a blow for Anastasia. She yelled, "Frimpy is my prey alone, so I won't let you touch him." With that shout, she slammed the wild boar to the ground, but it seems her strength was no match for it. It once again aimed for Anastasia. "I'm the only one being targeted. It must be holding a grudge for being attacked with magic." Sildandano. At this moment, Sildandano ran quickly to the wild boar with a stick. I realized something thanks to Naga jumping on it. Its left ear is bleeding from the explosion earlier. It even damaged its inner ear. Its ability to balance has been affected, and its charge is also slightly off target. Furthermore, its left eye is also blind, so its left side must be completely in its blind spot, even though it's a monster. It's a creature closely related to wild boars, so their body structure must be similar. As soon as he finished his thought, he used the stick to pierce the wild boar. But unexpectedly, he missed. "Damn it, I can't reach." While he was thinking, the boar threw him off, pushing him back. It's starting to turn and press its side against me. It's trying to crush me. This is bad. I can't move. I can't even breathe. If this keeps up, seeing the two of them struggling like that, Anastasia couldn't help but shout worriedly, "Shutendano, Naga, hang in there." Shutendano is about to Shutendono. She panted, trying to get up. The wild boar was still ramming into Shuten. Anastasia ran over with a stick and stabbed it through the body, struck in the heart. The wild boar let out a mournful cry, and Sheldon was lucky to escape it. Anastasia stared at her hand in thought. Sheldon quickly spoke up, "Anastasia, it's okay. The fat, hairy pig is dead." As he said this, Anastasia suddenly burst into tears. "I was so scared. I was so scared. You saved me again, didn't you?" "Thank you. You did well." "And their reward for today was that wild boar." Naga grumbled, "I'm hungry. You're making me wait too long. It's almost ready. I've never butchered an animal before, so I had to watch a tutorial video." Looking at the meat skewer in his hand, Naga was drooling. "So delicious." While everyone was eating, Shuten prayed. He mumbled, "You pushed me to the brink so many times, but I'm grateful, because thanks to your meat, I'm still alive. Thank you for the meal." With that, he took a big bite. The first meal of meat in 2 weeks. The rich flavor. "This is the best meal since I got to this island." Suddenly, a sound came from the bushes. A girl slowly approached. Seeing her, Shuten quickly and kindly asked, "A human? Hey, are you okay?" She slowly raised her head and replied, "That looks delicious. I haven't eaten in 3 days. Could I have some?" "Wait, this girl is the princess of Niflheim and a descendant of the Demon King, the Gemini of the Demon Kingdom. Princess Milea Vanek. The demons, who brought disease to this world thousands of years ago, not to mention their feud with the elves. They're also very good at deceiving the human mind. That makes them a dangerous race. But Anastasia was always wary of her. We don't know what her purpose is, so it's best not to help." "That's right. She didn't even help us hunt. Why should we give her meat?" Nip cried, "Descendant of the Demon King, you say? The dangerous race you're talking about? I can't do anything right now. I just want a little meat." Hearing this, Shepard's heart softened. It seems this girl still doesn't understand the situation here, does she? To be honest, we have more meat than we need to eat. You must know how helpless it feels to have nothing to eat, right? I could eat all of this right now. You see, I can't even use magic. I can't do anything since I lost my power. I'll do my best. So please let me stay. I'll do anything. Ask me to do anything. That means she could do heavy lifting, right? Super. It's true that having companions makes it easier to survive. You can thank me. I'll do my best. On the outside, she said that, but on the inside, she was thinking differently. Humans are always so easy. I went to all the trouble of leading it all the way here, and it got beaten to a pulp. I was so scared, I almost fainted. You know? It was really unbelievable. But now that those two can't use magic anymore, there'll be plenty of opportunities to catch them. Sengoku, my beloved alma mater. Just you watch me, my love. I will crush those two, for real. And I will surely restore our honor. The Demon Clan. Today, because of that aggressive Mohawk boar, the places we wanted to go were blocked. But after killing it, we can now explore the entire island. He laid out his plans one by one. We've been able to secure a relatively stable supply of water through distillation, but the bucket is broken, so we can't do that anymore. And yet, there are more of us. Our top priority right now is finding drinking water. I want to go find a water source on the island. But I need to process the pork before it spoils. I can't do anything else. There are 4 of us here, so let's split up the work. Teamwork is pretty good. It feels like a survival battle. Naga will be in charge of exploring the island. Our lives depend on you. The main goal is to find a water source. A noble responsibility? How interesting. With that, she turned and left. Leave it to me. I feel a little full after eating, so I'll just go for a little exercise. Sheldon shouted a reminder. Be careful of the dangerous monsters on the island. Anastasia, go find dry firewood and water, okay? Maybe you won't do as well as before, but it's better than doing nothing. Do your best. And me, Leia, you don't look well, so help me butcher the pig, okay? Shouldn't Dano. Being with a demon is very dangerous. She's also a little weak and looks very pale. She must have gone through a tough time. That's why I'm asking her to do light work. No, but only Anastasia realized. That's the normal skin of a demon. Daiku, Milea, smiled innocently and said, it's true that I haven't fully recovered, but I can go gather firewood. I have something to do, so can I switch with little Anna? Little Anna, if everyone else can do it, so can I. He doesn't know the nature of a demon. I can't leave them alone. All right, let's continue butchering it. Silver went over to the wild boar and cut its belly open. You hold it. I'll gut it. Look at the heart. Isn't this where you stabbed it? Perfect. Normally, a wound like this wouldn't be enough to kill it. I guess you used a cursed spell. Let's butcher it. Can we pull out all the organs at once? But to Anastasia, this was incredibly barbaric. Her face gradually changed color as Shuten began to remove its organs one by one. The organs have a very strong, fishy smell. If you don't take them out quickly, they'll rot. The intestines are so heavy. Try holding them. They're really heavy. Look at this liver. Today is a real pig organ festival. While he was excited, I got the heart. Even someone who doesn't know anything can do it by following the instructions, right? Anastasia turned around to see that she had fainted long ago. Oh my God. What? Anastasia fainted. Let her rest for a bit. Hold this for me. Yes. Milea wasn't afraid of the organs, so the work went smoothly. If Nada was also this good, I could have gone exploring. There's a lot of meat here. If we know how to process and preserve it properly, we won't have to worry about meat for a while. And if we find water and there are no more monsters, we'll have more time to rest and wait for rescue. If I have time, I want to make some survival gear on the internet, like building a shelter. There are a lot of videos on how to make pottery from clay. There's also a way to hunt with a blowgun, using a tube similar to a bamboo tube. I've always wanted to try that since I was a kid. 1 times 0 is equal to 0. Okay, I always think of random things when I'm bored. An adult in a difficult situation. But all I think about is all sorts of things. Daiku. Suddenly, Milea spoke up. This heart is so clean. Seeing this, he praised her. Milea, you're really good at this stuff. She replied cheerfully. Me? Normally, people would think that demons are quite used to this bloody stuff, right? And yet you thought I was afraid of blood? That's hilarious. But that makes me happier. Then she bowed her head and offered. You have no prejudice against the demon race, do you, Daiku? Maybe because you live so far away, so you don't know anything? What's your profession, Daiku? I teach in Tokyo. Tokyo? I don't know anything about that place. But that's the reason. You accept me without any prejudice like Anna, right? That's pretty good. Prejudice? Is it because the elves, dragons, and demons are at war? That could be it, but there's a deeper reason. Then Milea recounted her family's history. Over 200 years ago, a powerful demon lord was born in the demon clan of our people, and that demon lord was my father. In just a short time, he had conquered the entire world, and even as the demon lord, he still had to fight the elves, dragons, and humans. So he was defeated by a coalition of many races, and his reign ended in a short time. After that, we grew weaker and weaker, until now, even though it's called a 3-way war. In reality, We can no longer fight against the elves or dragons. What a profound reason. The demons of today are far different from the demon clan of old. People like me have spoken up to fight for peace, and pacifism has also emerged. But after that, even trying to compromise, it was very difficult. It's hard to change the past. We were once the demons who invaded the world. Even among my students, there are some who are good people at heart. But because of a complicated past or family circumstances, they have a hard time fitting in with the class. That's why when you accepted me, I was very moved. Before that sentence, Shuten was incredibly calm. It's no big deal, but she didn't think so. No, I'm truly grateful to you, Daiki. So, I really want to repay you. I said it before, didn't I? I'll do anything, and I'll let you do anything. Charm magic, sweet promise. As she spoke, she moved closer to Shuten. This seduction, bus magic induces sexual desire in the target and helps me control them. This magic has been significantly reduced on this island, but it seems he has let his guard down, and I can get through. To be honest, a normal guy would have desires, even if I didn't use any of my power. Tell me, what do you want me to do? What do I want you to do? The thing that Daiku desires. The thing you want. When she said, I'll do anything, I wanted to ask, is it really that nothing can touch the pure soul of Shuten? But I can't ask her to do things like that. Her body won't be able to handle unusual desires. She, on the other hand, was playing her cat and mouse games, seducing him. My body can't handle it. I see. He wants that. I will satisfy your desires. I want it too, but that's just me. Her body became sticky and slimy. It's really disgusting, isn't it? Milea smiled and said, he likes to play like that, doesn't he, Daiku? What do you want to do most right now? He likes to play like that, huh? But it seems he didn't really care. What he cared about right now was Anastasia. Milea stuck out her, but seductively, trying to tempt Shuten. It's very easy to satisfy a man's desires. Then suddenly Naga burst out, I'm back. Shuten clutched his crotch and yelled, ouch. What was that? I'm sorry, I was so dizzy I almost fainted. Seeing Naga, Milea's eyes welled up with tears. Damn it, she appeared so suddenly. I was so scared, I broke my nose. Naga went over to Anastasia and yelled. Shuten came over and asked, did you find anything? This looks like a small island. I surveyed the island once. So, is there water here? Yes, a small pond nearby. It seems to be the only water source. However, the water is very dirty, almost undrinkable. The difficulty of this island is too high. That nameless is A. Symphony of Hope and Despair. Shield, following the tracks, cursed angrily, damn it, the water in this pond not only smells terrible, but there are also animal carcasses floating in it. Anastasia, beside him, asked worriedly, can't we drink it anymore? He began to get an idea. Maybe if we distill it, we can still use it. But oh right, I once saw on a TV survival show. I remember a scene where someone poured dirty water straight into their rectum, through a tube, to rehydrate through the rectum. Wait a minute. Suddenly, Anastasia cut off Shuten. But I don't have a tube. If I turn a plastic bottle upside down and pour it in, would that work? In for Shuten. But that's a last resort. It's best to avoid it if possible. Even so, bones and pieces of meat are still scattered everywhere. It seems like it was eaten by something. The water is likely contaminated, even if it's weak. But that creature seems to be able to use poison. I think it poisoned the water source here, paralyzing the animals that came to drink, and then ate them. The Kichiku has transformed the environment to suit its needs, and in the end, destroyed the entire surrounding ecosystem. It tends to migrate to other places. I've heard that this species is a troublesome pest. It will destroy the entire ecosystem. This is no joke. After all, it's a small island. Just a small part of the environment being destroyed could lead to our demise. Anastasia fell into a panic. There's not a drop of drinkable water on this island. Really? Shundano, no way. As he finished speaking, he stood up and walked away, then discovered. I knew it. It's a real banana tree. I've seen banana leaves on this island before. So they can grow in a place like this? Then he busily collected water from the banana stalk. Weren't you looking for water? Here. This is water extracted from the banana tree stalk. Try it, Anastasia. After trying it, she was very satisfied. It's quite cool and enough to quench your thirst. But Naga, on the other hand, it tastes bitter and grassy. A banana tree is not actually a tree, but a large herbaceous plant. You just need to cut the tree and drill a hole in the middle of the trunk. There's a lot of water in its trunk. I once saw a video that said it can store quite a bit of water each day. This doesn't solve the drinking water problem, but it reminded me that you can't just find water on the ground. Trees are also a very good source of water. The fallen coconuts were all eaten by the aggressive Mohawk pig, but there are still fruits on the tree. Thank goodness. Hearing his words, Anastasia couldn't help but cheer. That's great. I can't believe there are still so many delicious fruits. My area of activity was already limited, and I'd already picked all the coconuts around here. Now, our range of activity has expanded considerably. You know, what are you doing? I'm looking for a stick to knock down the coconuts. This is too much trouble. Can't you just climb up and pick them? Climbing trees is very tiring and prone to accidents. You can use a rope to increase the friction for your feet, but to be safe, don't overdo it. But before he could finish his sentence, Naga had already climbed straight up the tree. She even turned her head back smugly. See? Climbing straight up is faster. I'll take all the fruit. With that, she threw the coconuts she had picked down, which fell straight onto Shuten and Anastasia's heads. After this, I decided to leave the coconut picking to Naga. On the way back to camp, I checked a few places, but it seems most of the resources on the island have been nearly depleted. Distilling seawater requires temperature control, so I left that part to Milea. 2. Increase decomposition efficiency. We made crude knives from stone. I asked Anastasia to cut the meat into thin slices for smoking. Meanwhile, I continued to dismantle the monster. While tearing the meat, I realized that more than half of the monster's meat was tough and chewy, inedible. But if we only smoke the edible parts, it will last for over a month. Even if we don't find any new food, this meat will be enough. So in the end, the biggest problem is still drinking water, right? For now, we can use coconut water or water from plants to survive. But there are 4 of us, so I'm worried we won't be able to last until we're rescued. I've been on this island for 2 weeks now. I've been constantly sending out smoke signals, but I haven't seen any sign of a rescue team. The sky is always clear, not a cloud in sight. There's no sign of rain. What's going on? Shuten dono. It's nothing. I was just a little distracted. Damn it. My sense of unease is acting up again. Get a grip, Silver Daiku. Fulfill your duty as an adult and save everyone. At this point, he was constantly worried. It's almost time to eat, and Naga still isn't back. Anastasia also opened her eyes wide and said, the sun is about to set, and without light, the forest will be completely dark. Will it be okay? Suddenly, a piercing scream rang out. They immediately ran towards the sound of the scream. That was Naga's scream, wasn't it? It came from that direction. Let's go. Naga, what's wrong? As soon as she saw him, she grabbed his hand and pulled him away. Just in time. Come on, over here. Wait a minute. Where are you taking me? In the sky, a bolt of lightning struck down from the heavens. What was that? That light doesn't look much like an aurora. Or rather, isn't that an island? And it looks like a pretty big island, too. Anastasia immediately explained, that light could be a magical phenomenon. Without magic power, a natural. Magical phenomenon shouldn't be possible, but if we can get to that island, then we'll be able to use magic and go home, right? If there's magic anywhere in the main army's territory, there might even be resources on that island. Seeming uninterested, Naga rolled her eyes and said, I'm hungry. I'm going back. Anastasia immediately turned and questioned her. You change the subject really quickly, don't you? She just replied perfunctorily, and with an empty stomach like this, I couldn't swim across even if I wanted to. I've shown you what I wanted to, haven't I? Wait a minute, Naga said enthusiastically. Besides, tonight we're having tripe. My favorite dish, right? Let's go back. Let's eat quickly. Perfect. First, we have to fill our stomachs. And so, both Shuten and Naga cheered happily. Only Milea and Anastasia looked confused. Tonight is a grand feast of offal. Looking at the spread of food, Anastasia and Naga were drooling. Shouldn't Dano, can't we eat anything other than the entrails? Organs spoil easily, so we have to eat them first. But thinking back to this morning, the scene of the organs being pulled out and the smell of blood from that time is still vivid in my mind. There's no way I'm putting that thing in my mouth. Looking over at Naga, who was enjoying it with gusto, Anastasia also suddenly reconsidered. She started eating the meat and complimented it. But the meat is really delicious, so maybe the entrails are too. So delicious. But Anastasia seemed to not be able to stomach this food anymore. I can't stand it. It's mushy, and the smell fills my entire mouth. What? You mean it's super delicious, right? Could it be that it wasn't prepared properly? Here, have a sip of coconut water to cleanse your palate. The taste of coconut is still the ultimate savior. Naga rolled her eyes and saw something. What is this? Is it that kind of grass? As soon as she took a bite, she vomited it out. Disgusting. So bad. And she spat it all out. Then the three of them started bickering. That's right. There's no way a savage would understand such a delicate taste. Hey, you guys. Hey, stop being picky eaters like little kids, you guys. Stop being picky eaters like little kids. The princess of the elf empire said she couldn't eat entrails. That's hilarious. Just chanting with that mouth is enough. She even crushed an entire army of demons, you know. Clearly, the scene of bones and blood rising from the battlefield is more pleasant. A noble princess like her wouldn't understand something like that. After a while, everyone's stomachs were full. I'm full. I feel like the power inside me is about to explode. Then suddenly, Naga walked up to me, Leia.